lighting up a new song, doing it so wrong. She throwing me her thong, I'm getting in my mode. Where you go so far?
What's good, gang? Let me ask you a question. How is it possible that we live in the most connected time in human history, but people feel more alone than ever? So think about it real quick. Right now we have smartphones, social media, FaceTime, texting, Instagram, Discord, TikTok. You can talk to someone across the planet in 2 seconds. So why do people feel lonelier than ever? People feel more isolated than previous generations. In fact, some studies say that this is the loneliest generation, and it's becoming a mental health problem of modern life. And honestly, that's kind of scary, because that's kind of crazy, because technically we're surrounded by people online, but here's the truth. Seeing people online is never the same as connecting to them. This is where the social media illusion comes in. Here's where things get interesting. So at first, social media was originally created to connect people, and at first it kind of did. You could keep up with friends, talk to family, share moments, but over time something changed. So research found that teens who spend 5 or more hours per day on their devices are 71% more likely to have a risk factor for suicide, which is crazy. So whether teens are watching cat videos or looking at something more serious, the amount of screen time is not about the specific content. It goes hand in hand with higher instances of depression.
What is going to happen when we check our phone? And with notifications, likes, and communication, we are mostly always rewarded by checking it, making us learn to constantly check our phone. Also, since checking your phone is such a low-cost effort, you expect small rewards and are mostly satisfied, so you continue the behavior of checking your phone. The hijacking of these, or phantom ringing of their cell phone that is no longer there. This is when quitting your phone starts to feel like a horror movie. You'll literally start to feel your phone buzzing in your leg even though it's not there, like a goddamn ghost of your old phone. But day 3 of quitting is when some good things start to happen, because you may begin to be rewarded by your friends, your family, your lover, because you're actually now paying attention to them.
Wow.
You are no longer phubbing.
So instead of interacting with people, most of us started watching people. And think about your average life or your average day online. You scroll through, you see vacations, you see relationships, you see parties, gym transformations, luxury lifestyles.
Everybody loves me. That's that fake it till you make it stuff. Statistically in research, it doesn't work. So we're going to build a bridge between the two. And bridge statements are things like, it's possible that I'm not 100% correct that everybody hates me.
True. So even though you don't realize it, your brain starts comparing. Your brain starts to quietly ask, why isn't my life like that? Now, logically, we know people only post their best moments, so you're not going to see when they're sad, depressed, or nobody posts the awkward days or the boring days or their bad moods. But your brain still compares, and over time, the comparison creates distance.
You ever feel like you're in a room of people that are supposed to be your people, but they don't feel like your people, or the things they relate to aren't the things that you relate to? The tea that they're spilling isn't the tea that you relate to, or it makes you feel uncomfortable? That's loneliness. Loneliness is the subjective feeling state of being alone, separated or apart from others, and has been conceptualized as an imbalance between desired social contacts and actual social contacts.
That sounds pretty clinical. Maybe we can get some help.
Maybe we could get some help, right? Now let's talk about something that sounds complicated, but it's really not. Dopamine. So dopamine is the chemical that controls your motivation and your reward. Every time you get a notification, your brain releases a tiny amount of dopamine. So someone likes your post, dopamine. Someone followed you, dopamine. Someone commented, more, and 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 more. Dopamine. But here's where it gets funny, because your brain treats notifications like tiny little rewards. Almost like snacks. Instead of food, you're eating attention. And social media companies know this. So they design apps to keep feeding your brain these little hits, which means a lot of people start doing this cycle all day long. scroll, like, scroll. And before you know it, you've been on your phone for 3-4 hours and you only accomplish one thing: watching strangers' lives. And watching strangers live their lives, actually. So why does life feel harder now? So you got to pay attention. Here's another weird side effect. Relationships are slower. Real conversations require attention, patience, and listening. But on social media, it literally trains your brain for instant stimulation. Quick videos, quick posts, quick reactions, which means when people go back to normal conversations, their brain starts to feel like something is missing. Real life feels slower, less exciting, almost like your brain says, "Where's the entertainment?" And that's why a lot of people feel disconnected, even when they're around others. Stuff like this going on when you really have your friends right next to you and you know there's no conversations going on, but there's no conversation going on because everyone's head is literally in their phones. I would say that, honestly, growing up now is so different than it was before because we used to go outside. We used to actually get hurt, ride bikes. We used to be outside. You could not keep my generation from being outside. Nowadays, you got to kind of force these kids to get off the tablets, to get off the phones. And one thing you got to realize is we can be the generation that raises our kids different, because if you're going to raise your kid off of iPad, then that's just not right. It's really not right. And you see what's happening to you. So if you're already really lonely because you grew up with all this technology, right? And now the world is changing, everything is changing, because researchers are starting to notice a serious pattern. Most people today are reporting having fewer closer friends than the previous generation. Most people live alone. Most people work from home. And a lot of the social interaction usually now only happens entirely online, which means people are constantly only seeing others online but rarely experiencing real life experiences together. And ironically, the more advanced technology becomes, the easier it becomes to avoid the real connection. So loneliness stems from a gap between desired and actual social connection. Driven by modern, fast-paced lifestyles, heavy technology use, and weakened community bonds. The key factors include social isolation, work-related fatigue, life transitions. It's like being surrounded by people while lacking deep, meaningful, or supportive relationships. And the ones that are usually mostly affected by this are older adults due to loss or mobility or peers, young adults facing high social pressure, and people with lower income or lower education levels. So my thing is, with phones and tablets at concerts, I could never understand how you want to go see your biggest artist or your favorite celebrity. And I get capturing the moment. So I probably would capture the moment too, because that's what everyone else is doing. But honestly, you see how many phones are up right now? No one's paying attention. They're just trying to literally, most of them are probably live streaming too. Things used to never be the same. People used to go to concerts to actually enjoy it, to actually sing their heart out, to actually see their favorite artist or their favorite celebrity. Even everything's just for the social acceptance now. So I don't think technology is evil. Social media isn't evil, but it does definitely change the way we interact with the world. And sometimes, and most times, the easiest thing to do is just to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But the things that actually make people happy are simple: conversations, friendships, shared experience, laughter, memories, things that just don't happen on the screen. So maybe that's the real challenge today, is remembering how life was outside of an algorithm. Because the internet can connect the world, but only real life can connect people. So I'm thinking in the next 5 years, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And I'm hoping there's people out there that want to have kids that still want to teach their kids and not just stick a tablet in front of their face. Because, man, but connect with your people, be yourself. if you're an introvert, it's cool to be an introvert. But honestly, it's crazy how you used to have to go outside to make friends, and now I can just open my phone, have millions of friends right there. You might not know me, but they might. You know what I'm saying? This your boy Young Rome. If you like the new videos, just drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, and I appreciate you if you're still here. God bless. And then we out. Peace.
Wrong. You've been all alone, with a brand new face and a brand new waist and a brand new coupe on a brand new day with some brand new